With Mindscape, I'm aiming to push the contemporary boundaries with technologies. The goal is to research the actual implementation and parametrization of biofeedback systems in a 3D environment. This transdisciplinary investigation questions the relationship between the subject and object, seeking to understand the interaction mechanisms underlying both parts mutually influenced by its counterpart. The project uses Unity Engine, a VR helmet, the Oculus Quest 2, and the Emotiv Insight, an EEG device. In Mindscape, the brain has a direct effect on the virtual space. The cross-referencing of more than one auditive or visual cue contributes to enhancing the aptitude to harness and control the thought flow, which is usually invisible to the ears and the eyes. The feeling of immersion is also strongly reinforced with the VR helmet, depriving the user of his external environment and providing 6 degrees of freedom, plunging him into an abstracted reality. As the goal of this project is to explore biofeedback systems in video game, I will primarily give an overview of the EEG and its integration in Mindscape. The Emotiv headset have 5 semi-dry polymer sensors placed around the scalp. It connects to a computer via Bluetooth and the API allows its use in many supported coding languages. After the helmet is paired to the computer, the helmet can be connected via the Emotiv app linking to a user profiles. After applying a small amount of glycerin and saline solution to the dry sensors, the device is placed on the head and touches the scalp. Special attention is directed to minimize the impedance that can affect the EEG readings. Indeed, dead skin cells, sebum, and sweat can create a wall that prohibits the current from flowing freely from the scalp to the electrodes. The raw data are then extracted and displayed here via the Emotiv Pro interface. The functioning of an EEG is somehow similar to a dynamic microphone. It has a signal amplifier, an analog filter, and an analog to digital converter. The AC and other sources of noise, such as respiration, pollute the reading of the EEG. This is why the device requires an analog filter, such a low-pass filter, having a cutoff frequency being small enough for anti-aliasing, a high-pass and a notch filter to increase the signal-to-noise ratio. A lot of artifacts, as aforementioned before, can falsify the interpretation of the readings, starting with the electrical activity originating from nearby surrounding source and the rest of the body. Since it is impossible to avoid, denoising methods are applied to clean the signal. The reading of the oscillating waveform of an EEG contains a mixed amalgam of various frequencies that can be attributed to certain cognitive, affective, or attentional states. It is possible to perform a spectrum analysis using fast Fourier transform, like with sound. Spectral analysis is used to implement brain-computer interface and neurofeedback systems. Frequencies are sorted according to their particular range: alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma waves. The power band data can be extracted from each sensor and then attributed to objects in the world. The game fetches those data using JSON messages sent via the Cortex API to Unity. Specifically, they are paired to 2 abstract shapes, a cube and a sphere, which morph in size, height, and color according to the power bands. The solids also emit a radiant tri-dimensional audio source from which drowny pitch is altered according to the readings as well. This hum permeates the whole sonic environment. It is possible to compare the sensors with each other. For instance, Frontal asymmetry is one of the most advanced techniques up to date regarding frequency-related analysis in the brain. It is possible to find an index of motivation or engagement of a subject with the beta and gamma band readings of the electrodes placed on the frontal cortical region. Indeed, a higher discrepancy between bands from the two hemispheres signifies positive emotions, engagement, and enthusiasm. It is a method used to read the engagement toward ads, products, and service in the neuromarketing field. The engagement, and indirectly the motivation, is reflected by the fight or flight tendencies toward an external stimulus. With the emotive helmet, it is possible to extract different performance metrics such as stress, relaxation, engagement, focus, and excitement. After parsing, weighting, and sorting into an array of those metrics incoming from the helmet, the highest value would trigger one of the three evolving superimposed audio layers, if it was not already playing, and change the player acceleration. With the Emotiv BCI application, it is possible to train a set of mental commands. After saving them on a user profile, they can be accessed via the Cortex API. The more training, the more precise the algorithm becomes. The user can keep or discard his training by referring to a quality indicator. In Mindscape, the player moves on a rail and uses the mental command push to advance forward in the game. Doing so triggers a sound as well, notifying the player sonically. It also contributes to reinforcing the player's immersion. Mindscape proposes a trip to what's beyond, unknown, and hidden. What could be called an experiential game was realized in Unity with free assets from its store. It features a succession of many realms designed to produce contrast aimed at altering the player's mood. This favors change in the dynamic audio layers and the speed of the player. The first prototype of the game aimed to demonstrate the first inductive step for realizing the game. The mind would influence a set of flying spheres, changing in color, height, and scale, while also altering the audio pitch. The game uses VR as well and takes place in a fractal box. It is akin to the embryo of the project.